That is what the Buddha has been teaching. Yes, Buddha has been teaching that. But we don't see how much labor he has put it in 7 years, how many masters he met. He met more than 50 masters. And then he sat on the Bodhi tree. He was aware of the incoming and the outgoing breath, where there was no disturbances, there was no veil caused by the mind, by the ignorance, and then he reached to the state of nirvana. So we don't experience that state. Yes, we experience for a few seconds. I have to extend that few seconds to few minutes, to few hours, to 24 hours, to weeks, months and years. And then I can reach to that state, 24/7. I need not to do the practice. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your both your palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. So, how are you?
Good.
Don't say good. If you are good, then say good. Otherwise, say bad.
I'm
We
good.
should be very straightforward. We should not follow an American etiquette. Oh, let us see, it is good, good, good. And due to that American etiquette, we fall into delusion. We suffer a lot. So we have been continuing the journey on a pleasure, delusion, and happiness. When the real self is inside me, it is available 24/7. Why I am not able to experience it, why I am not able to discover. That is a big confusion in everyone's life. We put a logic, but we don't understand the logic put by our all masters in one voice that we do not want to understand. We stick to our logic, we fall into delusion, and we leave the path. So, what is that logic? That logic comes from my ignorant mind. What is that ignorant mind? Let me make it simple. My mind experiences the joy of indulgence. I experience the joy in indulgence, in obsession, in habit. I experience the happiness in attachment. Joy of indulgence, pleasure of attachment, which I claim it is a happiness. Master says this is not true happiness, my friends, and I don't want to understand. I put a wrong logic. No, if you say the real self is always available, so show me. So those people who live in ignorance cannot find it. joy of indulgence, pleasure of attachment, happiness in relationship outside, it is outside. Mind is outside. Real self is inside. It creates a veil of ignorance. I cannot find my real self. Very simple, but very challenging. If I don't raise my level of awareness, I don't qualify my mind to become a seeker, I cannot treat the path of the Eastern wisdom. Intellectually, come on, close your eyes, do the practice. Yes, many people are doing. How many people are awakened? How many people are awakened? We don't realize this. Why? We don't have a time. Why we don't have a time? Ask yourself. I'm busy. Where I'm busy? I'm busy in the world. So busy in the world means the mind is already outside. I have yet to understand what it means by mind is outside and mind is inside. And that is explained philosophically, even by the Buddha and all our great masters. So then they say, okay, you did not understand, so let us understand the difference between the pleasure and the happiness. Oh, we are picking up the same step. That is the mind outside, is the mind inside. So what is pleasure? The pleasure is always takes place when my mind comes in contact with an object, with a person, or a relationship. So that relationship, that situation, that object is always outside. So mind is enjoying that pleasure outside. Real self is inside. I do not understand it, and I go on doing a lot of practice, kundalini practice, vibration practice. Oh, a lot of practices are there. So now see the difference between the pleasure and the real permanent happiness. Permanent happiness is independent of anything outside. That is how the master explains. If we can really reflect on this, we realize what Buddha is saying about nirvana. He is saying that get rid of all the dependency on the object, on the people, on the relationship outside, even if it is resulting into pleasure. If it results into a pleasure today, it will going to result into pain tomorrow. Because the world outside is changing. Mary, honey, your honey is changing. Soulmate today, after a year, soulmate, third year, divorce. So I married to be happy, now I divorce to be happy. I dig my own grave. I don't want to understand it. And that understanding takes time. It is not a one-day affair. You tell me any object which you like the most and still you are liking the most. Whether it is your car or your dress or your house. You bought the house, just a year, last year. And now when you look at the house, and you go and see other house, my house should have a little more of this, little less of this. These thoughts must have popped up in your mind. And that strips the pleasure out of you. Yes, as compared to others, my house is better. No doubt. But still the mind pops up with the likes and dislikes. And these likes and dislikes are the impurities of the mind. It causes the attachment and detachment, aversion. Attachment and aversion leads to desire. Desire leads to millions of the thoughts inside the mind, and that mind is constantly wandering. That is why we say, my mind is wandering. I'm not able to control the mind. You cannot control the mind unless I understand each and every step. It will never happen deep inside. I hide the pleasure in relationship with an object, and still I am seeking permanent happiness. Not possible. Mind will remain outside. Mind will remain. I want to enjoy the coolness of my living room while living outside the home. Not possible. We don't want to understand it. We don't want to contemplate it. We don't want to reflect on it. The mind keeps on wandering. And we have the same complaint that how my mind is wandering, why should I'm not able to control it. This delusion took Buddha 7 years. He left the house. After 7 years, he reached to that state. We say, let me close my eyes and find, okay, now I've got it. I know. Not possible at all. Yes, it is possible. And if it had been possible in your life, you should not have met me. You are already into that state. Why the awakened will care this beard guy who is such a small guy? We don't think in this way. So second thing, what our masters do, so when you are listening and learning, it changes your thought pattern. The teacher helps you avoid this thought pattern. It will take you to the delusion and ignorance, and this thought pattern will take you to the journey of the self-discovery. That is why one has to listen, learn, contemplate, and reflect, and do the practice regularly. Not 7 years, even if a couple of years. Put it logically. Why we put logic? If the Eastern wisdom is made up of the cult, dogma, belief, and the ritual, better you don't do it. Leave it. We have 3,000 texts which explains everything logically. It says, no, first understand. Listen. First, say, for example, you believe that there is a real self, and now we will inquire, where is the real self? So you simply believe that there is a soul and you don't inquire, nothing comes out of it. Are you understanding? We do 99%, we believe is, there must be a soul because Jesus said it. He said it because he realized it. What about me? No, because he said it. Okay, I say you both are crazy. Will you accept it? Accept everything then. Then accept everything. No. You are saying crazy, but Jesus said that we have a soul. Then accept what Jesus said from the start to the end. That I don't want to. That is ignorance. Going back.
Was Jesus enlightened? Was Jesus enlightened?
Obviously, the way, whatever he has spoken, all his words and phrases and advice and suggestions indicates. They all are the principles of the Eastern wisdom. So we don't teach any religion, cult, and dogma and belief. We have separated the two. We say it is purely a science. Follow with the reason, understanding, do the practice, and reach to that state. Buddha never said that you follow me. Buddha never said that this is my religion. But their followers made it a religion. The seekers of the Buddhist path never say that this is a religion. Followers have to hang on, to cling on to something, to depend on something, to start their business. And we are fortunate, the Eastern wisdom, those masters have never said, you follow me. They said, you understand, inquire, examine, and then you find out if there is a real self or not. So there is no preaching, there is a teaching. Preaching is?
Yeah, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
I never thought of it like that.
Preaching.
The followers that.
Yeah, followers. If you are a follower, if you are a seeker, you will realize, you will keep quiet. Yes, okay. Fine. I don't want to enter into any conflict. I have reached to that state, shown by the Buddha, shown by the Jesus. They don't enter into this. You see, we have a mass prayer every Sunday, or in every religion, weekly meeting, let me spare some time for the God and go there. Come on, that God is in your breath, in your body. That God has given you the intellect, and you don't have a time, or you have only 1 hour to spare weekly. This is preaching. This is preaching. Understand this. What is teaching? You go to Harvard, engineering 4-year course, at least minimum 5 hours every day. 4 days you complete, or 20 hours, 80 hours a month. 4 years, then you get a degree. That is teaching. It is not preaching. Eastern wisdom is not preaching. If it is a preaching, it will become another religion. That is why we need a continuous, constant, committed study. I spent 26 years, and for me, 26 years is like 26 hours. I always feel I should have spent more time with him. But if I say, 26 years is a long time, it will not work that way. It has never worked that way. You give me any example, you prove it. So that leads us to a question. We should ask question, why we are seeking happiness outside in the external things if it is temporary. I know it is temporary. I go to a restaurant, I eat the food, I like it and I enjoy it. And it may be 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, as long as the bite goes into my morsel, goes into my mouth. And once it is finished, and that temporary happiness is gone, and still I repeat it. I constantly repeat it. Why I repeat it? I have to ask this question to myself. Why I am seeking temporary happiness? Because I am living in ignorance. Where there is no happiness, I am seeking happiness there. No, I enjoy, say for example, the pasta. Pasta gives me the happiness. So what is preaching? Do this and don't do this. What is Eastern wisdom? Eastern wisdom says, go and inquire whether the pasta has a property of happiness there or not. It is teaching. That's why it takes time. That's why we have to be patient. That's why we have to be a seeker. Otherwise, go to any religious places, attend 1 hour, and preaching is different from the teaching. Remember this. Never forget this. Then you will have respect for all the religions. Then why? Because then I want to extract, I want to understand it. Just we have a big fashion. No, I'm not religious. I'm a spiritual guy. Really? You're a spiritual guy? and you are deriving happiness from 10 different objects outside, are you a spiritual guy? Are you making a joke of yourself? No, I don't say anything, During the teaching, I talk about it. I'm a spiritual guy. I'm not a religious. So neither I understand what is being religious and what is being spiritual. The first teaching of being a spiritual that I have recognized, and I'm constantly recognizing that true happiness is not located outside in anything. It is located inside. How many people who claim that they are spiritual and they think in that way? No, it's a fashion. It's a fashion statement. Now keep a smile on the face, we are just communicating, I'm not blaming and complaining anyone. It's a part of the journey, it's part of understanding. So temporary, for the sake of temporary, yeah. What is your question?
I want to ask you on happiness. So when somebody claims that something makes them happy, what is that feeling that they're actually feeling then? Is it happiness but out of ignorance, or what are they actually feeling?
Yeah. You have jumped from the kindergarten class to the postgraduate class. But I'll give you an answer. I'm experiencing that happiness because of the real self behind the mind. But that mind has projected the happiness in the pasta, so it keeps its awareness on the pasta, that the pasta has given me the happiness. So through the close examination, I recognize that this pasta has not the property of happiness. We are 100% clear. So from where that happiness, I feel the happiness. I experience the happiness. Eating the things I like. Possessing the things I possess. So where I experience the happiness? I experience the happiness inside me, or do I experience the happiness in that object? I experience the happiness inside me. So when I experience the happiness inside me, it is my experience. It is independent of that object, but my mind projects constantly. It is because of that. That is ignorance. But I have to bridge the gap from kindergarten to postgraduate. Step-by-step understanding, examination, then I am clear. What happens when I am clear? Should I stop eating pasta? No. I will liking, so I go and eating pasta, but I'm aware. I'm internally aware, constantly aware. Happiness has it's been manifesting from the real self, not from the pasta. That my perception of the world has changed. Why? What happens when perception of the world has changed? There is no attachment. There is no obsession. There is no attachment and obsession. Then what it means? The mind is already centered in that real self all the time. It has no chance to create any pain and delusion. Ignorance is gone. After enlightenment, did Buddha not eat pasta? No, he ate pasta. But now he had a cognition that this pasta does not contain happiness. Then what happens? How the mind takes, how the enlightened people use their mind. Their mind says, now come to the basics. What is the basics of eating? Eat to live or live to eat. So you're always happy. I am eating only to live. Not I'm living to eat. When I live to eat, I have certain preferences, likes and dislikes, attachment and detachment. I'm bridging some certain gap from kindergarten to the postgraduate.
Yeah.
So then another part comes in. Then yes, if the pasta is available, I'll eat it. If it is not available, I will eat with the same calmness of the mind, whatever food is available, because I land up to the basic principle. I live into that extraordinary awareness. What is that extraordinary awareness? Eat to live. You're offering something else to eat and I feel hungry, I will eat it and finished. I have no likes and dislikes. I don't fall into delusion and pain and duality and a conflict. Finished. So I do not accumulate any type of ignorance and reaction and anxiety and anger with any person, with any relationship, with any situation, with a state of the life that I am living in. I am free. Nirvana means freedom.
No, I didn't know that. Nirvana means freedom.
Nirvana means freedom. So I have a joy of indulgence because that joy is there and I forget the indulgence. I'm chasing the joy. Indulgence, there is no joy. I don't remember. Pleasure in attachment. So I hide the attachment. I enjoy the pleasure. I love you, honey. And after a few weeks and months and years, honey says this is too much. Find out any object, any person, anything that I do not want to understand because I believe in preaching on one hand, and then I say, I am not a religious person because they simply preach. That does not fit me because I do not understand. I don't want to understand. And then I have a fashion statement. I'm a spiritual guy. Don't I see you that you both are men? Why should I declare that you are, every time you meet me and you say I'm a man? If you are a spiritual, you show your thought, your expression, your attitude, your behavior shows that you are a spiritual guy. So when I declare, I'm a hypocrite.
Girish, what is your answer when someone asks you if you're religious or spiritual? Because people always ask me that.
Yes, if the guy is the highest level of craziness, and if the guy asks me, I'm religious, are you religious? I will say yes, because he told me that he is religious. Other guy tells me, I'm a spiritual guy with a big face. So yes, we both are spiritual. That's why we are friends. It doesn't make any difference. It does not make any sense. Nobody said that I'm a woman, are you a woman? They will never say, because then that means it is the top-notch crazy guy. There is no sense of saying that. There is no sense. I used to go to a Methodist church to give a talk in New Jersey, and I was looking, such a beautiful picture of the Jesus was there. And I kept on looking. It mesmerized me. He said, what you're looking? I said, I'm looking at my master. My master is manifesting like Jesus. That is being a spiritual guy. I went to synagogue there. In fact, I helped a couple of rabbis there. They have a lot of problems with sexuality and their rabbi teaching. And they used to take me. They said, don't tell anyone that I'm learning from you. Because he was the rabbi. I went to synagogue and I said, I feel the presence of my master. Spiritual being means you are awakened to that presence. You don't see the difference from outside. We have a difference we have a difference of color and the shape and the height and the weight and the strength, the physical strength. Go behind the skin, same carbohydrate, same protein, same minerals. So when you look from outside, you say, I'm a religious and I'm a spiritual. From looking from outside, saying religious and spiritual does not make any sense. So my simple answer, many people say, oh, I don't believe in any God. I don't want to name, it's a Fortune 500 company in New Jersey who is a chief finance officer. He said, if you teach me any part of the religion, I said, I don't believe in religion. No, I don't want to talk about the spirituality. I said, yes, you are right. So if you teach me with the facts and reasoning and give me the practice. So he hired me just for 10 sessions and he continued for 4 years until I came here. And now soon he is retired. It is the same way any phone is a technology by the science, is used by criminals, used by terrorists, used by all of us. It is a knowledge. Knowledge does not know any bar. It can be used by anyone. But yes, if this knowledge is used by the criminal, he will become a saint. He'll become the master. It happened in the life of the Buddha, was going through the forest. He found a criminal, a robber, who used to cut the fingers of the people who he caught. He robbed everything, and he used to wear the rosary of those fingers. He was such a heinous criminal. People said, don't go through that. Don't pass by this, Buddha. They all told the Buddha. Buddha said, no. Fearlessness. In nirvana, you have that freedom. Fearlessness. You know how to deal with those people. So deep inside the forest, he met the robber and he started, you don't know who am I. Look at those fingers. I have killed hundreds of people, robbed them of their properties. Why you are doing it? Buddha said calmly. I'm doing it for my family. Can your family take the sin of what you are doing? No, they can, yes. They can take up the sin of what I'm committing. I'm killing the people, and they always agree. Buddha said, tie me to the tree. I will not run away. Go back to your home and find out. Ask everyone. If they take up your sin, I'm ready to follow you. Perhaps that robber was sensible. He said, no, let me find it out. First he went to his father. He said, do you know that I've been killing everyday people and rob them and bring the money and the belongings? Yes. Are you ready to take a sin of mine? No. It is your responsibility. I'm old. He went to his wife. No, I'm not ready to take up your sin. It is your responsibility. You're my husband, so you have to take care of me. Son, no, I'll not take up your sin. He went back, changed in perception, changed in mind. You untied the Buddha, he fell on the feet of the Buddha. He became one of the great masters in Buddhist tradition who went to the China and promoted the Buddhism. I need a mind. I need to listen. Not only I need to tolerate, but I have to hammer the mind to get rid of the ignorance. We need that level of seeking. So he left everything. He said, no, nobody's taking up the sin. Why I'm doing this? We commit sin due to attachment. We commit sin because I'm obsessed with you, I'm attached to you, you're my honey, I can do any damn thing for you. Go back to the same pleasure and happiness. So obviously he touched the feet and then he got initiated into. Initiation means that you start learning logically these things. Initiation has only this meaning. Initiation has no other meaning. If you find anyone who says that I will close your eyes and I will bless you better, don't go to them. They are creating some hallucinations around you. Eastern wisdom clearly says, Buddha said, because many people recognize me as a monk, as a great master, therefore you should not believe, because many people believe it, unless you examine it. Buddha. And all our masters are saying the same thing, in a different way. He made 8 statements. Out of the 8 statements, he says that I have written a book and you like the book, that is why you should believe the book. No! You read the book, you study the book, you contemplate and reflect and see it is valid, it is truth, it is real, accept it. That is the beauty of the Eastern wisdom. That is the power. It is the power of the knowledge that helps us to transform our life.